What is up? What is up, people? We have a very interesting live going on right now. So, I've seen a lot these days. I've seen a lot of propaganda go on, and it's just bad. I think we have to address this. It's almost like the elephant in the room. We have to talk about it. There is no if, ands, or buts. We have to discuss this. One of the reasons why is I brought this up on a panel the other day. I think it was Grid One Motorsports, where I was just talking about how whites can't talk about black issues, meaning like not even that. Whites can't even talk about the problems in the black communities because they don't have a place to even talk about this. Because if they do, they'll be deemed racist. If they say anything, it's just automatically racist rhetoric. If I say anything, I'm an Uncle Tom. I must hate my mom. I probably hate my skin color, according to whoever else is listening at the time. Like, to me, it just doesn't really make any sense. In this episode, we're going to dive deep into this. Not only this, but the rhetoric sparked by the black community, which is becoming even more racist, which is crazy because even though it should be polarizing, it's not. The fact that we're allowing this to slip and slide by, all this racist rhetoric from the black community, is basically normalizing this, because what you allow is what will continue. And here's the thing, I will present a couple of videos. And in my case to say that black people are racist, I'm just going to have self-admittance of racist. And not only this, but we're also going to display some things as well too on the screen. I present to you one of the exhibits, not even A, but I probably could go through A to Z on this. It's crazy. If I was to talk about anybody being racist, who the most racist people in society were or is right now, and I say black people, a lot of people would overwhelmingly agree with me. Black people say that they cannot be racist, which is the stupidest, dumbest rhetoric of all, because according to black people, by their own volition and by their own belief system, Candace Owens is a white supremacist. Larry Elder is a white supremacist as well too. Well, to me, this doesn't make any sense because you're calling them that. Well, how can black people not be racist? Exhibit A.
Will be racist.
Black people can be racist, but I feel like it's justified. I feel like I have to be on edge or be prepared for a white person to be racist to me.
Is that from personal experience or from the media?
I'm gonna say based on personal experience and the media.
How often do you really face racism out in the street?
To be honest,
Has it ever happened?
it's never happened. Based on personal experience.
This is crazy. To me, this is crazy. She just refutes her own argument. I'm going to bring up something, and this is going to be a little bit polarizing. Not only that, but this is insane. Let me go ahead and share this screen. I have to share this screen. I don't want to. Let me make sure that I have the mute button on. Yeah, let me bring this up real quick. Hold on real quick. Bring this up to the stage. Boom. Here we go. All right, let me go ahead and put this on the screen. I don't want to play this music because I don't want to get demonetized, but I'm going to discuss this right now. So I'm going to play this. This is really crazy. So not only is the black community racist, but we have a black woman here. She's a hip hop artist, and she's showing, I guess, the results from an ultrasound. A plan B, little blank, don't even work on me. Not all in my guts. Go in me, my mouth. I should have kept my $50 and blew it on something else. A plan B, they don't even work on me. So to me, I'm like, what is this saying? So to me, this is crazy. I mean, I wish I could play the lyrics, but you get it. Like, this is really nonsensical. This is the black community just on display here. Not only do we have the black community on display here, but there's a really broad issue here with, I would say, not only black racism, but the allowance of this. If you ask black people, they'll tell you they can't be racist. And then, not to mention that, but we have it's a hip hop song that we have. I'm going to kind of I don't want to play the song either, but I do want to kind of show this file It's a video file here, and this is just nuts. I don't even know if I have this, but we're going to show it anyways. Yes. I'm going to go into YouTube right now because this is insane. Not only is this probably like the most racist rap video that you probably have ever heard of, but it's just insane. I want to play this, but I don't want to have the lyrics. On the screen. We're going to go ahead and take the volume off of this. And I want to share this. This is I guess key exhibit A right now. Of course, I was saying the other one was exhibit A, but this is like really exhibit A right here. Let me bring this up onto the screen. This is really wild right here. Let's get to it. Okay, I'll play it, but I don't want the song to play because, of course, it's the demonetization that'll happen. Even though I'm not monetized right now. Let me go ahead and put the closed captions on. So this is crazy. So how is this helping America out? So, of course, she's talking about violence, but she's saying if you're not black, stay out of the business. So when it says all the 9 blacks to the back, she says all the whites to the back. How racist is this? She says all the whites to the black. Matter of fact, I'll play a little bit. I don't know if I could get demonetized for just a little bit, but I'll play like just a clip of this.
Blacks to the back. All the 9 blacks to the back. Hold on.
All the non-blacks to the back. She's saying all the non-blacks to the back. This is racist as hell. How is this not racist? She's saying all the non-blacks to the back. And then she's talking shit about white people throughout this whole song. So in the music videos, she has like white people in the back looking over the fence. And I'll show it to you. It's just really bad rhetoric that she portrays here. This is how they portray the white people, like this. Snoop, and then look what he does to the white people. And then she's saying all the non-blacks to the back. This is probably one of the most racist music videos I've ever seen. Matter of fact, let me take this off of the screen because this is crazy. Not only is black culture at an all-time high, probably one of the most racist cultures out there right now, but I have to take this off the screen. This is insane. This is a lot of issues that we have right now in the black community. It's not just the racist rhetoric that we have, but it's the allowance of this. It's the theory that, or the thought process that blacks can't be racist. So I want to present this. I don't know if anybody is a fan of the Young Turks, but I'm not a fan of the Young Turks. It's a really progressive organization. Let's continue. This right here is crazy. Let's bring this up. So I think there's probably 2 things that I want to talk about. I want to talk about how black culture isn't progressive. It's not only the most racist right now towards, I think, black people and also Asian people, but this is a big issue. I'm bringing several videos to the stage so that way you guys can see this, because I think that this has to be put out there, and I think that this needs to be discussed. If we don't discuss this and we have these problems, we'll never have a solution to this if we don't have discussions, because white people, they're not allowed to talk about this. I don't know if you guys know about this. In the black community, white people can't speak on black business. And the reason why is because it allows them to become racist. It allows us to stay racist in these racist bubbles that we do have. The biggest problem that I have is that black culture and media is a promotion for racial division. Now, there are certain elements of black culture as expressed through mainstream media that have increasingly contributed to racial division by promoting narratives, stereotypes, and rhetoric that vilify non-black groups, particularly whites and Asians. While black cultural expressions often aimed to address systemic inequities, A subset of influential media outputs like spanning music that I've shown right now, film like the movie Get Out, where they're vilifying white people, and also social platforms as well, like X and everywhere else, where people can say white people are crackers. But if you say the opposite, next thing you know, the whole black community probably feels like they want to burn the whole damn city down. And that's an issue. It has been normalized so much, some of this racially charged content, that it fosters resentment and division rather than unity in the black community. Even though they could justify this by saying 60 years ago, this is what happened. 100 years ago, this is what happened. I heard this happen to my great grandmammy. Things like this that have happened. So this is the structured case. It's grounded in observable reality, trends, and these examples that I'm going to provide to you. For one, music and entertainment is often the vehicle for racial stereotyping. We see this commonly. Glorilla has music on this. Everybody else, we could see this. I think with black women, it's the cornerstone of their music. If it's not talking about sexual degeneracy, it's either bashing white people or Asians. Hip hop is a cornerstone of black cultural expression. That's what it's supposed to be. Often examples of anti-white, anti-Asian sentiments through lyrics and public personas. Artists like Lil Wayne, Kanye have used their platforms to generalize non-black groups negatively. This has happened a lot. Matter of fact, films like Get Out, Queen and Slim, these have all generalized white people. I think that this is bad. I think that there's a social media amplification of divisive rhetoric that's happening right now in America, primarily black people. I don't think that any culture is more polarizing than the black community when it comes to being racist. It used to be, I would say, Southern hillbillies used to be like the common trope. It's no longer that anymore. It's front and center with music like Glorilla, amplifying racist rhetoric towards white people, things like this. The whole stabbing of Irina Zarutska, the guy walking away screaming or yelling, "I got that white bitch. I got that white bitch." And they tell me that that's not racial rhetoric at all. Well, if we take this circumstance and flip it on the other hand, where a white person stabbed a black woman in the neck, I think we'd have whole cities being burnt down right now. When white people get upset, they march. They have prayers, things like this. When black culture gets upset, oh, cars are being set on fire, buildings are being burnt down. Next thing you know, it's just massive chaos. It just doesn't really make any sense. There's several things spanning this whole trope as far as like racism that we can say that there's objective reality that we can look at. There are riots that we can look at, and other segments of reality we can look at. The cultural narratives and selective outrage that we have in the black community is ridiculous. Not only this, but black media often emphasizes historical and systemic grievances, which, while valid, can spill into rhetoric that dismisses non-black struggles and contributions. For instance, I think it's 2023's BET Awards. It features speeches framing black excellence as inherently oppositional to mainstream, often coded as anti-white culture, sidelining shared progress, which means that black people have to do it. They've always stayed oppressed, and we want to have this mainstream narrative fulfill this whole propagandization to push this racial narrative that we have as a black community. To me, this doesn't really make any sense as well, too. The selective outrage, to me, tops everything. Just doesn't make any sense. It ignores intersectional realities, like Asian communities facing hate crimes that have gone up 339% from 2020 to 2022 per the FBI data. You can actually look this up too. Or white working class communities grappling with economic despair by framing black issues as uniquely valid. Some media outputs implicitly devalue others, and this fosters resentment. I don't know how it doesn't foster resentment in communities when media pushes this stupid rhetoric that we have as far as like the racial inequalities that don't happen when we talk about this. Yes, people can get pissed off for me saying this right now, but the most racism that we have stems from the black community. And I can even prove that it's not only acceptable in media, but you could say cracker on any social media and say this towards a white person, but you can't say the N-word towards a black person. We see this because DEI doesn't benefit white people. Matter of fact, DEI is a racist system that's been set up. It's a construct of a system that's been set up to ostracize white people from jobs that they're more qualified for. And this is stupid. It just creates more liabilities for everybody else that we have to suffer for, or suffer through, should I say. So there's a couple of problems that we're going to dive through, and also me exposing a lot of rhetoric. A lot of this doesn't really make any sense. So there's industry complicity in marketing exec incentives. I think that there's certain industries that want to capitalize on certain groups, like the Jays. That could be another thing too, but I'm not touching that because, of course, people could say that I'm ignorant to this subject, but let's stay on topic now. So media conglomerates, they amplify divisive content because it sells. Record labels like Def Jam, streaming platforms like Netflix provide edgy, racially charged narratives to capture attention. To me, this is a selling point, and I think it's really divisive for the dollars. I don't think this is helping at all, especially when you have music videos being pushed saying all my non-blacks to the back. When we see this music video that I just showed, and she literally said this in the lyrics, I need all my non-blacks to the back. And then you see the white people looking over the fence, portraying them as like snitches to the black community, showing this division. And then you see a black person put their hands on the white people's heads. Like, this is so racist. It's just, I can't believe that I'm seeing this right now, because this is the level of acceptance that we've gone to embrace from the black community. This is crazy. This is ridiculous. We shouldn't show this in media, and it doesn't make any sense. It's been sold so hard that you have liberal white media buying this. Liberals hate black conservatives, but they love liberal blacks. You know, liberals will also tell you, for the most part, to hate whites, or to hate themselves, or to participate in white guilt, which is a psyop. White guilt doesn't exist unless you're gay. Then you can accept white people, or unless you're an LGBTQ ally, or unless you support transformer rhetoric. Then if you're white, you're okay. To me, this doesn't make any sense. And I'm probably going to piss off a lot of people tonight. I don't even care. So in conclusion, while black culture in media seeks to reclaim space and voice, its mainstream expressions often veer into promoting racism by generalizing non-black groups as threats and caricatures. As we see daily, we can see this all the time, and blacks are slowly becoming caricatures if they do it, but if white people do it, it's racist rhetoric. You see, it's like rules for thee, but not for me. This isn't universal, as I've already described. Creators like Childish Gambino or other people often bridge divides. I mean, it helps when people bridge divides, but the dominant trend is fueled by market forces, unfiltered platforms, risk entrenched in division over dialogue. To me, this is a really big point right now. So for a counterpoint, to me, I think that we can look at other counterpoints and then try to look at people who are helping out, but it's few and far between. These are unicorns. Like, we don't see a lot of rhetoric helping out in this divide. So we have escalating racial antagonism in black culture in 2025. That's what this whole live that I'm doing is about. I don't think that if anybody follows my X platform, a lot of the commentary that I put up on my X platform exposes a lot of this. I discuss a lot of this. People could say, well, why does Marte hate black women all the time? It's not, have you ever heard of hate the sin, not the person? You know, I don't hate the person, I hate the sin. We're allowed to hate sin, right? I can hate bad characteristics or bad behaviors when its expression harms society or harms other people or is divisive in rhetoric. So in 2025, which I'm discussing, elements of black culture, particularly expressed through mainstream media, social platforms, and public discourse, are increasingly promoting racism by amplifying divisive narratives, stereotyping non-black groups, especially the whites and Asians that I've already discussed, and normalizing exclusionary rhetoric. While rooted in addressing historical inequities, this trend is driven by commercial incentives that I've already laid out. To me, I think that when people are trying to profit off of racism with the black community, it's like a hot selling point right now, but it's dividing us even further, and blacks are eating this up a lot. We have an escalation in media and music content already. So we have Glorilla's track, No More Room, which includes lines mocking, matter of fact, it says crackers trying to vibe, and chinks in the studio. I don't know if I can't even say that on YouTube right now. A term that generalizes and dehumanizes. So to me, I think that if you can use the Asian slang to I think, degrade them, or you can call white people crackers, and then one of your lyrics saying crackers trying to divide. This is super racist, but we're citing these lyrics. Even you can, I don't know this, like I can't really prove this at all, but I guarantee you that there's white liberals that are repeating some of these lyrics because they want to fit in. And they're also repeating the self-hate culture of hate whites, which means like hate your own. Like, this doesn't really make any sense. To me, this is why I don't like liberal rhetoric. I don't like a lot of liberal rhetoric that's out there. There's a lot of other issues too. So television and streaming content also follows suit. So I don't know if you know, there's a movie called Get Out that came out. We could say that this is a controversial movie because it kind of put the black people, you know, being oppressed by some white people, being drugged at some point. Like, to me, this can be like an overcorrection, the way that black people took it during the time. They did. They took this and it was an overcorrection in media, and racist comments online skyrocketed towards white people. A lot of this is like being accepted. So to me, it doesn't make any sense. So a 2025 USC Annenberg study notes that 38% of black-led media depicts non-black groups as antagonists, up from 28% in 2023, reflecting a deliberate narrative shift. Like I said, the movie Get Out came out, and the comments about, you know, regarding white racism or racism towards whites from the black community skyrocketed. Like, there was a massive boost from this. So to me, I think that there's a social media catalyst that's being used, but it's also not being stopped by anybody. So my live right now is like a pushback to this whole thing, but I don't see people doing lives or any content pushing back against, you know, this rhetoric, except for me in black communities. I think there's one guy named the Black Preacher on X. I could probably get together with him, but then they'll call us coons, or they're probably going to say we're Uncle Tom's doing all this. I mean, I'll get back to this, but that's the thing, though. There's a lot of issues right now. None of this makes sense. A lot of white people are facing this, and they're told to be silent. They can't speak up about this because then if they do, they're racist. That's why I'm saying this. That's why I feel like I can speak on this. And then the least they can call me is they can say, well, you're Uncle Tom, or you hate your mom, or you hate your skin color, something like this. This doesn't really make any sense, because if blacks can't speak up about blacks being racist towards whites, who can tell black people that they can't be racist? Or who can call black people on their own shit when they're being racist? If blacks can't do it, whites can't do this, that means we're just going to have no accountability in the black community, and we're going to keep calling whites crackers? Like, tell me how we can solve this problem. If nobody can address this problem, how do we solve this? Here we go. I had to mute this, but this is crazy. So this is the woman. Matter of fact, this is the woman that sued the Lyft, the company called Lyft. She's a hip hop artist, and she went out and made a video. Let's go over the lyrics. I'll read them off to you. So, N-word, is you nuttin' in me? What the is you nuttin' in me? Just get off the boat. I told you can't you can't have me coked up in the house. You got 24 hours. I'm so tired of taking the plan B. This won't stop me. I'm tired of taking the plan B. Like, so we have like baby deletion rhetoric in 2 songs, not one song, but 2 songs now. What is it with this degeneracy? Matter of fact, let me bring it up real quick, because they got all the racist stereotype tropes in this video. Look, KFC, she's holding the KFC. She got the weaves. She got the lace fronts on. They're all out of shape. Of course, that's stereotypical. Loud, very masculine behavior, worshiping money, nothing but materialism, twerking. Like, how many she got a 40 ounce in her hand? She got a 40. This is crazy. All the state, like, if we could try to find a Guinness Book of World Records as to like how many racial stereotypes we can fit into a video, I think this would be a close runner up to like 5th or number 1, at least top 5, at least. This is crazy. Like, she got no business out there with a belly. Like, she don't even have the clothes to fit. This is crazy. Like, if a white person had done this, they would have lynched these white people for doing blackface or something like that. Like they're literally clowning on themselves. But if a white person were to mimic any of this, they would say it's appropriation. This is appropriation. Matter of fact, when white people wear braids, they say, oh, that's appropriation. There's so much race, but you see how layered this is? Like the racist rhetoric that's being pushed. They're pushing white people into a box to where white people can't do anything anymore. Like there's the whole trope of white people don't put seasoning on their food, all of this. Like, you mean to tell me Italians never put seasoning on their food? People in Europe put seasoning on their food. There's garnish, things like this. Like, you're out of your mind. So this is just insane. Like, I would have told these black people, yeah, good thing I don't want to go to the cookout. There's no cookout I want to go to if you're going to be racist like this. And especially if you're going to like be embracing all the racial stereotypes. The 40 ounce, throwing money, like what, KFC in the background? This bitch she got a box of KFC in her hand. The other one got a box. Look, she got a box of KFC with a 40 ounce in it. Look, we want to complain about how people don't stereotype us. They don't want us to be stereotyped, but they are quick to say, yeah, but don't tell me why you got to tell me I eat chicken all the time. Or why do you got to tell us we have 40 ounces all the time? You're doing this on the video. All right, let me get to some of these guys. A bit lazy on these comments. All right, yeah, braids were never really a black thing anyway. This originated beforehand. The Celtics did this. Irish did this. Even the Asians did this. Native Americans did this. They had the 3 braids representing I think it was mind, body, and spirit. Other cultures did this. The Samoa did this a long time ago. So when blacks say that you're appropriating black culture by having braids, that's just complete BS. I don't know who would really buy this. This is just insane. I don't understand it. Yeah, Weird Al should parody this. That would be a hilarious video to do. It's called a Dutch braid. And I'm going to say, as a white person, white family, my mom and grandma season their food all the time. Never had a meal that wasn't good. Yeah. But this is a common trope that the black community will always say. You know, they always present I think, what is it? The potato salad with raisins. That's a common trope that they like to dog people out for, especially in the white community. Like, to me, this doesn't really make any sense. Braids never existed before black community or the black culture existed. Like, they invented this. They're the arbiter of who could put what hairstyles. Like, and then that's another thing too, is like, this is why I also don't date black women, to be honest with you. If you find a black woman, she's got to be a unicorn. And I'll say this, at least if I'm dating a white woman, I don't have to pay for lace fronts. I'm not going to have to pay for weaves. Whew. She can go swimming because it's not going to fuck up the weave. Like, there's a lot of stuff we can do. She's probably going to be more in shape. I hate to tell you this. I'll probably sound racist as hell by saying this, but how am I lying? Like, to me, this is just what's going on right now. Like, I love my white women out there. White women are beautiful. There, of course, people can say, well, there's trash white women out there too. But I think that if you were to talk about like liberal women, yes, there's trash in every culture. I could be universal when it comes to this. And then here's the other thing too, is I think that if you look statistically, matter of fact, let's go look at some Census Bureau stuff right now. This is the crazy thing. Hold on real quick. All right, let's go check this out. Because I can go to Google and find some results that are not only telling, but extremely telling when it comes to this. There's a lot of this. So 60% of black women are out of shape. It's a lot of people. And then when I go look it up, it says black women have more bone mass and muscle mass. That's complete bullshit. Let me go look at this. Gasparino cited 1996. I wonder what kind of NGO paid for this study. But big bone muscle, that's the common excuse that black women use. That's not even true. I'm in nutrition. I do diets for clients. I've done training for a lot of people. This is just insane. This is extremely insane. Hey, Ms. D, what's up? This is crazy. It's just insane. I don't, and that's a massive reason. One of the reasons why, because looks matter. I don't care who you're with, but the majority of black women are out of shape. It's rare to find a black woman that's in shape. A lot of them are too masculine. Matter of fact, I had a debate a long time ago on Fatty's channel about this. Not only are black women too masculine for me, for the most part, but you have two sections. You know, you have black women that can't say ask or ambulance properly. That's low educated. And I'm not being super racist to my own self by saying this. I'm saying the majority of the nation is below 8th grade comprehension level. A lot of people are like this, but the majority I don't want on that side. But if you look at the other side of the spectrum where they're most educated, well, not most educated, most graduated, because studies show that the blacks are most educated with women. That's a complete fallacy because they're the people that graduate the most. It doesn't mean you're the most educated. Those are two different distinctions that I can make. So that's also a fallacy. If I find a woman that's a PhD and she's black, she's probably going to be extremely masculine because she now has built something and now I have to equate to that or be the functional equivalent of this. Why do I want this? Why do I want to have to fight for leadership because of a masculine black woman? So if we look at this, now I've created a middle ground. Where is that person at? It's few and far between, but when I see black women date white men, they're super feminine. They're really feminine when they date white men. But when black women date black men, for the most part, disrespectful, heinous, calling me out my name, all this stuff. It's just insane. Pumpkinhead says, am I supposed to be around 135, 140? I ended up pushing 200, started to wake up and work. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I'm 5'5" and I'm 225. But I'm also a pro IFBB professional bodybuilder. So I guess I get a pass for that. I'm a unicorn of myself, of sorts. So let's get to, that's great. Let's go look at this one more time. This is crazy. This is insane. Okay, I'm almost grossed out now. Let's stop. All right, let's get to the other video.
Here we go. Pastor, popular, far right.
And mind you, this is the Young Turks. I'm not a Young Turks video watcher, but I remember when I was, believe it or not, I was a liberal at one point. I thought Sheikh Uyghur was the bee's knees when it came down to politics and it. Now it's like, I think the more you start witnessing things in your own community, the black community, the more you become red pilled because a lot of blacks will tend to utter this stuff. And once you start questioning this, you become ostracized by your own community because you ask questions. And once you start doing this, blacks end up red pilling other blacks because of this, because you start pushing back. So to me, when I was a liberal, I used to watch a lot of Young Turks, but I mean, I've since been red pill. I'm a conservative now because I think we should conserve values. I think that's what conservative means when you're trying to conserve something. Oh man, do I think I could deadlift? I'd throw my back out. This is crazy. I probably could, but I'm not trying to do all that. That's crazy. Yeah, I did find the way. Had to. Look at all these stuff. Look, I read all these comments, but I'm not trying to read all these people just flexing on me with their height. I can't do that. I'm all you height ableist in the comments right now. I'm not trying to hear all that. But I make up for that in strength, size, and in my physique. I'd like to say that. Like, and here's the other thing, though. I'll say this before I bring this back to the stage. I think that if you're a man and you're 5'5" or whatever, I'm short, right? So that's probably going to screw me in the dating market to some degree. I'm going to be honest with that. But I mean, if I have a six-pack and big legs, big calves, all this other stuff, like women aren't really into that, to be honest with you. So, but the reason why I did this is because I just want to be successful. But I think that if you're stuck with metrics and you have 5'5" stuck at this, like, and you can't adjust this at all. I'm not doing the procedure to break my legs. I think you can either do a couple things. I hate that term, short kings, by the way. I see the comments. I'm not putting it on the stage. So if you think about this, I'm going to basically inflate my other stats. I can make more money. I can become more conservative. I can become more traditional. I could be more masculine. There's a lot of things I could do. I could train. I could work out. I can become leaner, have a better physique, take care of my face, my hair routine, my hygiene. There's a lot of things that we can control. But I think in modern age right now, women are overlooking a lot of stuff because they're buying a lot of BS propaganda on social media. Let's bring this back on stage right now.
Pastor claims black people are more dangerous than white people, and that
It's true. Black people are more dangerous than white people. I hope he's agreeing with me, by the way.
Jesus himself would have, well, been a bigot. Here it is.
Wait, hold on. Jesus himself would have been a bigot because he's coding observable reality, objective reality. If we look at the stats, black people are more dangerous when it comes to certain things. Matter of fact, do you see white people riot when Irina Zarutska got stabbed in the neck? What about Charlie Kirk when he was martyred or shot? Did white people go on a rampage, burn cities down? No, they had prayers. Down here at the Cardinal Stadium, which I couldn't make it because the traffic was ridiculous, we had a peaceful vigil. It was peaceful. It wasn't like the mostly peaceful liberal protests they have where cars are on fire, ICE is fighting back crowds, things like this. We didn't see any of that. So Jesus would have been a bigot for calling out blatant reality. That's crazy.
Who is black in our church, and they've been in our church, and we know them, and they love the Lord Jesus Christ. Great. We're not talking about that person, right, but we're talking about when you go into a crowd of people. If you go into a crowd of strangers and they're white strangers, there's some danger. If they're black strangers, there is 30 times more danger.
Put them up.
This pastor was so based. Yeah, I agree. Put him up. He's so based. Let's see if this guy agrees with me.
Far right Christian nationalist pastor.
Oh man. So he's not only based, he's ultra super mega based.
Joel Webben says black people are 30 times more dangerous than white people.
Yeah, I would agree. Let's see if he concedes.
He's the senior pastor of Covenant Bible Church in Austin, Texas. His rhetoric doesn't end there.
Yeah, keep it going. This guy's super based. He's super based. So if his rhetoric doesn't end there, well, good. That's good. If somebody cites reality, objective reality, something we can statistically track and see and call people out on, okay, I don't have a complaint.
He also suggested that white Christian parents need to have, quote, the talk with their children about avoiding black people.
Well, hold on, though. There has to be some context behind here because when I was a kid, when I walked in shops, my mom told me when I walked in Asian shops or anywhere else, don't put your hands in your pocket because they're going to think you're stealing this and that. Well, why was that? Because statistically, black people stole from their shops more than anything else. So it was the black community that put that target on my back. We almost did it to ourselves. So now we have these warnings of parents having to talk to their kids. I had to talk. So what's wrong with him having to talk to his kids about the counter? Like, okay.
Here it is.
If you're a Christian white parent who loves the Lord and loves your children, that you need to have the talk. The talk that we're referencing is the talk that takes your children according to their maturity at the proper time, the appropriate time, and says, there are certain parts of town that you cannot go. And there are certain people that you cannot be around.
Okay. I know there's certain parts of town that I wouldn't want to go down and certain kinds of people that I wouldn't want to be around. Let's say I was in Louisiana and somebody said, hey, go to Fifth Ward at 9 o'clock at night. You're out of your damn mind. You're crazy. And then certain types of people that you don't want to be around. Let's say I was around somebody that looked like the male version of Roman Army. Okay, they look like they just got out of the penitentiary. Yeah, that was a low blow, but how am I wrong for assuming this? So if I look at this, it's like even, and I'll even cite this again too. One of the primary reasons why I was commenting on Roma's tats is because if you look under psychology, or at least the psychological, I think the profile of women that have a ton of tats on their body, there's a strong correlation with mental illness. Don't blame me. I'm not the one that made this up or is citing basically the one that created the study. There's psychologists that do. So it's like, to me, I don't want to think about this as not a red flag because it's not attractive to me, for one. So Roma's also telling me I can't have my own preferences. How am I wrong for that? There's somebody that could date you that likes mentally ill people. That's not me. Yeah, that's 2 shots, by the way.
That is interesting. Preacher, put up the picture for him, ass.
Yeah, that's very interesting because he's so base so far. He's so base by saying, hey, I'm going to warn my children so that way they can have many years on their life. I'm trying to save their lives here. This is good. I like this pastor. This is a good pastor.
Pastor, your church is called Covenant Bible Church. So I'm going to make an assumption that the Bible is part of the business strategy at your ministry. And if that's true, when Yahshua, Jesus, spoke to the Samaritan woman, she says, you're not supposed to speak with me. I'm a Samaritan woman. You're a Jewish man. What are you doing over here? We can't even look at each other. He broke down the divides of culture and bigotry.
No, because, okay, this guy doesn't read his Bible or any of that stuff. He went up to her and he would do, as somebody would say, if I said this to a woman, she'd say I roasted her. Because I would tell this woman, I'd say something to the effect of, oh, you're a woman of many husbands. Meaning like, okay, you get around, don't you? This is what he told the Samaritan woman. So, okay, this would be the opposite of doing that, but he was pretty based at the time by calling this out. I don't know if he's like taking it and warping it a little bit. This is crazy.
Genderism, etc. He broke it. He also told the parable of the Good Samaritan. A preacher and a preacher in training passed.
So he glosses over that whole part about Jesus saying you're a woman of many husbands. Like if I called a woman that, she'd be like, are you calling me a hoe? Like if the shoe fits? How is this like, to me, that would be divisive nowadays. Yeah, Jesus was based, and then this pastor's based.
Asked the man who needed help, but a Samaritan helped the man. The point was, Yahshua was speaking to Jews. The man who needed help was Jewish, but the Jewish preacher and the Jewish Levite passed him. A Samaritan is the one who helped him. Remember the genesis of the parable. The question to Yahshua was, who is my neighbor? Preacher, I don't know what Bible you're reading, brother, but the scripture I read says there's no gender for those who are in Christ Jesus. Everybody is a free man.
This has nothing to do with him helping his kids. I want to stay away from religion kind of in this conversation. Just be really pragmatic here. Here's the thing, though. This has nothing to do. He's not even addressing this whole issue of the pastor looking out for his kids, because statistically, if you walk down certain streets, you can probably get taken out. Your life could be taken, stripped from you. Like I said, if I go to Fifth Ward, Louisiana, guess what? My health might depreciate rapidly during certain corners and certain hours of the day. So it's like, if we think about this, I can go to Chicago. Let me walk down South Side Chicago and wear a Rolex, see how far I get. But if somebody were to tell me, if I was to tell somebody, hey, well, you can't tell me what to wear, what to dress, because I have freedom, I have autonomy. They would look at me crazy, but I have the right to walk down that street in Southside Chicago. This is why if I have a wife, I'll tell her, hey, I don't want you wearing that outside at night. That's a lot of cleavage. And let's say she's going to walk down a bad neighborhood. I wouldn't let her walk anyways, but she wanted to go down to the store and she was going to go against my wishes. I'd say, why would you wear that outside at night? I have every right to question that. It's the same thing as me wearing a Rolex in a bad neighborhood. Guess what would happen? And then people, when I make this argument, they like saying, well, you're making permission for grape. You're allowing grape. That's an allowance of grape argument. No, it's not. If I was to warn somebody, it's because I love them. So this pastor's doing the same thing and saying, hey, I'm going to talk to my kids and say, hey, don't go down these streets. Watch out for these certain neighborhoods. If there's a certain group of people that look like this or do whatever, you just have to be cautious about this because there's a high statistic probability of you getting into trouble, there being crime, things like this. How is he a bigot for doing this? This is what this guy's implying. Meanwhile, he's not even addressing this right now.
And I also want to leave you with this point to your Bible thumpers. The Apostle Paul says that I wish I could give you the meat of the gospel, but I cannot. I can only give you milk because you're not ready for the meat of Scripture. That's in the Bible, which means
nothing he said ever addressed what this pastor's doing at all. Like, this is what I mean. Blacks are in denial. And to me, the reason why I brought this up is because how does this not endorse more racism from the black community? Because when people that are based like this pastor here, that wants to look out for their children and look out for his progeny, and he's really looking out for them because statistically we see things in everyday life. And if you're being realistic and if you're being based and grounded and down to earth, and if you believe in Christ and this guy's a Christian, I think that you would be doing a great disservice if you lie to your kids. If you tell them, oh, black people are amazing people, by and large in society, they contribute to almost everything in society, you'd be lying to your kids. You'd be setting them up for failure. I mean, it's just bad. I could go on about this. It's just bad. So this is just insane.
The very book you're reading, according to the author who wrote most of the New Testament text, that book is actually, according to Paul, milk. He said it, I didn't. In a 2023 podcast, last year he drew backlash. Let me go to that first. He drew backlash for maintaining that he would prefer to have a white doctor rather than a black one, because after being given the choice between a young black and a young white doctor, he said it was more likely that the young black professional was less qualified and, quote, got a free pass to start practicing medicine.
What's wrong with that? So I just want to ask, what is wrong with this? Like, I don't see anything wrong with this, because if we have DEI and there are black people that get free passes during certain things, like especially with school, law enforcement, women get this all the time. They would beat out 7, 10, 15 candidates because we need to fill a quota for women on the force. Things like this happen a lot. So you don't want somebody who's less qualified to be working. He's talking about his life here. If I have a doctor with a scalpel, don't I want the most qualified person that got to this position through merit and hard work? You know, the most educated person, the most knowledgeable, the most competent, the most capable person working on my heart if I had heart surgery, not a DI heart doctor. So to me, I think that there could be context added to this. But I think that if he's doing a tweet or writing something really quick, it's like we can disseminate this and just say, hey, he's talking about DEI. And he even explains this. He says the young black professional could be less qualified and could get a free pass. He literally explains DEI right here.
Now that's just insane, isn't it? Also, black people who go to black doctors have a higher survival rate than if they go to white ones. That's actually part of the statistical data.
So here's the thing, though. I would like to see the data and how many black doctors there are versus white doctors, because if it's a small amount of black doctors, they're more incentivized to not lose their job and more incentivized to keep their job and not losing it by fucking up a procedure. So I just think that this is bad. So he's cherry picking everything. He took the Bible, cherry picked that, left out the whole thing at the woman at the well and the Good Samaritan, all this other stuff. He left out a lot of that. And then when he talks about this, he doesn't mention DEI, doesn't mention the other side of the correlation. Like, okay, yes, maybe there are a few black doctors, but they want to be able to keep their job and they have to be more educated and prove their worth because, I mean, statistically, think about it. DEI hasn't helped white people out at all, right? We're taking all these white people out of the hiring pool and saying, okay, you're black, come on in. So it's black people have to prove their worth even more because we have this program. So it's like he's right to question if they got in through merit or not. How was he wrong for this?
In a 2023 podcast, the preacher also suggested that women, here we go, you see, isms don't travel by themselves. Well, there's racism, there's genderism, there's classism, all of it travels together. That women should not have the right to vote. When he was presented a question to visualize, what does a Christian nation look like?
Based, looks like this pastor talking. It looks like what this pastor is talking about. I don't see anything wrong with what he said. I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, women can't go to war. They can't do any of this. Like it just doesn't really make any sense. So Omni Future says he's projecting, admitting he's got a whole package of isms in his pocket. Yeah, he is projecting a lot too. So Alwine 722 says women shouldn't be allowed to vote. Most people shouldn't be able to vote. I agree. Most people shouldn't. Right? You have to have some stake in the game, I believe. I think that people that have a family, I think that if you put into our nation and you've contributed to society, you should be able to vote. But how many people have contributed to society? How many people have actually helped out with families? We're at a birth rate decline right now, and it's going down, right? How are you contributing? By having babies, creating nuclear families, buying a home, enlisting in the military, all these other things. We have to look at this. So I think it's extremely important that we have this conversation as well too. But think about it. The whole topic is black culture is becoming even more racist. That's the prompt here. Right now, he is in denial right now, denying all of this. So Omni Future says, serious question. Will black communities, neighborhoods rather have black doctors? I think that's going to be a very divisive topic because a lot of black people would say, oh man, I hope he passed his school. I hope he wasn't a DI hire. Black people will tell you that. Because I would say that too. Black people would say, oh man, can I get a white doctor because they're more capable? Black people probably tell you that too. To be honest, if it was their life on the line, because this is what we're talking about, Omni Future, their lives on the line. If you talk to a black person and ask them, would you rather a black doctor work on you than a white doctor? There's a lot of black people that probably agree with me and say, you know what? Let me get the white one or the Asian one, actually, that graduated from Harvard. Who is the most educated person in this society? He probably say Asian, actually, so it's like, so if you think about this, it's like, am I being racist for saying this? Or am I just citing reality and what I see as a pattern in culture? So.
Well, according to him, racism and women without voices. As a Christian.
So he didn't cite anything that was racist. And I think that if you have one vote for one household, meaning your household's intact, your wife could also say, hey, no, I think he's a good, strong candidate. And then your husband, and then what you do is you delegate in the household and you put in that one household vote. So if we use that as a metric for people that contribute to society, like one household vote, how is this silencing women? To me, I just think that this is just insane. From what he got from this, he's saying that this guy's racist, which I don't think he's racist. He's probably going off of stats, probably pattern recognition from what we see. And then also citing the fact that I don't think that women should be able to vote, but he doesn't say why. I mean, he kind of does go over it, but I also kind of added some context behind this. But he never said silencing women. So these liberals like to omit a lot from the table when we talk about this. Omni-Man says, hold on real quick. Let me catch up on this. I bet Alwan says, I bet they don't want DI if they get. You're right back up to this comment. I bet they don't want DI if they get the Indian doctor. They ain't questioning if he went to school. Yep. I wouldn't be able to vote. Father, husband, volunteer, firefighter. Oh, wow. I would be able to vote. Yes. Would be able to vote. Yes. Based. Father, husband, volunteer. Man, that's like ultra based right there. You could definitely vote. For sure. Omni Future says, I wasn't expecting that. Was wondering more like the left that hate others. Would they want to keep other races out? I don't know. That's a really good question. It's actually a really, really good question. So I don't know. That's a really tough one to dive deep into. This whole thing could get bogged down just by that question, actually, come to think of it. But yeah, hold on. Pumpkinhead says, if we can't have the saying baby deletion, then they have no rights sending men to war. Yeah, I agree. Doing it for the community, not the paycheck. That's honorable, brother. Definitely. So, yeah, they definitely don't have a problem with liberal professors teaching them all the time. So, yeah, I mean, let's get back to it.
Nationalist. The preacher subscribes to an ideology that believes the United States was founded as a Christian country. It was not.
We had Christian states. He's so wrong on a lot of this. We had state religions. Believe it or not, we had state religions shortly after the and during the founding of this country. We had state religions. I would tear the shit out of this guy in a debate. So let's backtrack real quick, because I think maybe I might have missed this part, or maybe was doing too much talking about it.
As a Christian country, it was not. It was founded nationalist. The preacher subscribes to an ideology that believes the United States was founded as a Christian country. It was not. It was founded adverse to theological or religious rule, and many.
No, it wasn't that. We have the Boston Tea Party. We there was a lot of other things too. This is just crazy. He's just revisionist history going on right now.
The founding fathers were deist, spiritualist, if you would. And that Christian values should guide public policy as well as the nation's cultural norms. Christian policies should guide public policy.
Yeah, what's wrong with that? What would the harm be to society if we changed everything to Christian values? Can you name one harm that would happen to anybody? Because we allow everybody has free will. You do pretty much everything except harm other people and pornography and several things. If the nation didn't have corn, do you think we'd be in a worse place or a better place? Right. Do you think more people would in marriages not divert to pornography, or maybe keep their marriages intact because now you don't have a competing digital opioid going through your screen? So I don't understand this guy's. He would be the guy that I would call Uncle Tom more than anything else. So I don't understand. This is a super black liberal right here. Super black liberal, Dr. Rashad Rishi, who I would thoroughly destroy in a debate.
Thou shalt not commit adultery, preacher. Your Lord and Savior, Donald Trump, has admitted to doing that.
So if somebody commits adultery, Is there no redemption for anybody? You're talking about the past. Is he currently doing that right now? Like, there's a double standard that we have. That means that nobody else can seek redemption. There's no redemption for anybody else. I don't understand this.
How do you reconcile?
Because if you get baptized, do you think that it doesn't work? That it's just water, nothing happens. The old man in you doesn't die, and the new man doesn't come out of the water.
It is scripture, right? Why does that not guide your public policy? All right, dear brother, I'm going to let you unpack this as a psychology.
Oh no, I didn't see this video. I'm just being honest with you. I did not see this full video. Now we have psychology entering the chat. Psychology is insane because there's a reproduction problem that psychology has right now, which is really making this such a pseudoscience more than anything else. It's not, psychology is definitely not a hard science. I feel like I'm about to be brainwashed. Just my brain cells are going to be incinerated by this guy's rhetoric.
Expert into the deep consciousness of mankind, because this individual, he's a tool.
He's a tool, but you're a doctor and you don't know anything about what you're talking about. Matter of fact, you're more racist allowant than this guy ever will be, the pastor. And then I have a feeling that because it looks like I have a black and white TV between these two right now on screen, that I'm about to hear the most liberal, nonsensical, dumbest jargon ever of all time, because he's representing the community of psychology, which is partly a joke to me in some regards.
I think you're absolutely right. He's a tool. And I have heard of the, having the talk of the birds and the bees. I did not heard of having the talk of the birds and the blacks, which is what this sounds like. And this is a level, I think, of, first of all, I mean, he is a tool. He's a tool for propaganda. And I think he is the product of.
Everybody's a tool for propaganda. If you're on TV and you're doing podcasts and you're being, I guess if people are hosting you on their shows and making content from you, it's all propaganda. I'm a tool for propaganda. I'm on here on YouTube doing a stream right now that's being shown on YouTube and X right now. So we're all tools for propaganda to some regard, because I'm a vector. He's a vector. The other guy's a vector, but let's continue.
Of in America over the past well over a century, there has been a concerted effort to instill these ideas into the psyche of the typical American. And he is just, I mean, he says these things. I think they say these things with this kind of edgelord, like, attitude that they're saying the truth or whatever. And I think that it's so sad when you see that they're really just parroting the talking points that people who have had power for decade after decade after decade haven't.
No, this is ridiculous. So statistically, if I go into a black neighborhood, do you think I'm going to see a lot of innovation when I go down this neighborhood? Do you think I'm going to see that? How much development do you ever see in the projects? How much innovation do you see? I'm just being totally honest with you. We could say that there's a functional equivalent at a trailer park with whites, but no, we're talking about black community here. Just the black community. So is he wrong to say that right now the black community is not the most racist, not leading in degeneracy in some regards, depending on where you go in society? Like, to me, this doesn't make any sense. No sense at all.
Instilled in him, and there is a level of sadness to it.
Take it easy, Alwine. I'll see you later on. The stream's pretty crazy. We're going to continue right now.
There's also a level of dorkiness. Like, it's frustrating to watch these guys. I mean, he looks like he styled himself after Matt Walsh. I'm not making an equivalence there. I'm just saying, it's definitely a look. And I think he is speaking to that same audience, which is a Christian nationalist audience. And they don't care what the reality is. The truth is that they just want a culture that they can use to maintain their status of power. They talk about identity politics and they practice it all the time because it's always.
Wait, is he saying conservatives practice identity politics all the time? Well, this doesn't really make any sense. I mean, right now we have black cultural gatekeeping that happens right now and exclusionary narratives. So black cultural spaces in 2025 are increasingly gatekeeping, framing non-black participation as appropriation or intrusion. For example, like I was saying, at the 2025 BET Awards, artists like Lotto emphasized black-only ownership of hip-hop. Like, to me, how is that not gatekeeping to some degree, a black community as far as like hip-hop? This is just the whole industry. So meaning that it dismisses contributions from Asian rappers, dissing white rappers, things like this. So I think it echoes like Nicki Minaj's 2025 X rant, which accuses outsiders, meaning like non-black people, as diluting rap's roots. There's a lot of racism that black people are basically reiterating the whole time. So this rhetoric alienates potential allies. We could be allies with the white community, yet we alienate ourselves all the time. It reinforces stereotypes like the video I was showing you with the black women dancing in front of the KFC, holding the 40-ounce, holding a box of KFC chicken. And to me, I think that this contrast with the data showing cross-racial collaboration in music, I mean, like we're talking about like 30% of 2025's top 100 tracks featuring mixed race production teams per SoundScan. I mean, there's a disconnect between reality and narrative, but blacks are pushing a racist narrative right now. This is happening en masse. And not to mention this, but blacks are okay with saying the word cracker and calling white people all these things. But does that knife cut both ways? No, it doesn't. This knife doesn't cut both ways at all, because blacks can continually make fun of white people, talk trash, call them white boy, call them cracker, do all this. But what would be the white equivalent that's allowed on their side? We don't see that at all. Matter of fact, there's gatekeeping that happens right now. I was talking about gatekeeping in hip hop and everywhere else, but we have DEI. How is DEI not job gatekeeping? To me, that's like gatekeeping plus to some degree, because actually you're jeopardizing lives when you're going to hire a doctor to do heart surgery on you who's less qualified, or brain surgery. Matter of fact, this is crazy. So I think that there's real world impacts and cultural polarization that happens. I mean, we have a lot of this. It's the intensification of black rhetoric and black culture. It's measurable in social outcomes. So I'm going to cite this. I think it's a 2025 FBI report notes that a 15% uptick in hate incidents targeting whites and Asians in urban areas correlating with media-driven narratives. This is happening. Like I said, when the movie Get Out came out, I would say that a lot of comments on social media, a lot of hate and divide towards white people shot up. It skyrocketed, like a 30% increase, a spike, right? A lot of this rhetoric gets put out. For example, a viral 2025 X post by a black influencer calling for non-white allies at a protest led to documented exclusionary incidents at rallies. There's a lot of rallies that there's a lot of hate and racial epithets uttered by black community. So this is not only bad, but it's extremely divisive. And it's just horrible. It's just horrible on its face. And this guy right here is co-signing everything. Everything that the liberals are
going to come down to delineating themselves from other people. And it's crazy to see. And when someone gets so brazen about it, I think it just speaks to how effective this propaganda campaign has been for the past century.
Brazen about it? You mean based and open about this? Why wouldn't people want to be more honest about what they say? This is why they were so against free speech. They were so against free speech because when you have free speech and then people, they just want to muzzle you. But I think that we should allow even hate speech. We should allow hate speech, because if somebody really hates you, it's good to identify them. If we muzzle people, we don't know what an enemy looks like. We don't know what opposition looks like because they're silenced. I'm totally against that.
Yeah, the irony that he subscribes to a faith that highlights as the Messiah a man of color who was a radical progressive of his era. Well, here we go.
This is insane. Let me take this trash off. This is just insane. It's insane rhetoric because they're painting a picture of something that isn't a reality, right? If I utter reality and I'm citing things that happen and I'm saying that black culture is degenerate online for the most part, and even in real life, if we look at stats, everything else is just bad. You know, so if you have hate speech, just turn the channel, right? You can look elsewhere. Pumpkinhead says hate speech is speech you don't like, doesn't mean to censor free speech. I agree. That's exactly what I was saying. If you have hate speech and somebody hates something, just walk away. You don't got to be in the same room as that person. You don't have to watch their YouTube channel. You don't even have to watch me right now. You can go tune into something else. To me, I think that if you are for putting a muzzle on people and silencing people, I think one of the communities that's doing that is the black community. They're silencing more people than anything else. Well, actually, the Jays, that's a whole different thing. But aside from all that, let's just focus on the topic. Black people are silencing and muzzling white people all the time. Because can a white person speak on black problems and black crimes publicly without being called a racist? Or being told that they hate black people like this pastor was? This pastor spoke out. But what does this do? This rhetoric from this liberal black guy, it silences people like that because now they can't be truthful and honest to their kids to protect them from degenerate culture, which is the black culture right now in America. It's not only degenerate, but the most racist right now. This rhetoric is not only divisive, but it's uttered in hip hop music, like I've already shown. It's nonsensical. You wouldn't want this in your home. You wouldn't want this for your kids. That's what the pastor's doing. Hey, this is not the culture that I should want around my kids. What's wrong with saying that? But he's racist for saying that? It's just insane, right? So I want to put this up, and this is the crazy. This is crazy. So when I say black culture is degenerate, this is what I mean. I'm going to play this. It's probably going to offend a lot of people, but I think maybe I have hopefully I don't get a YouTube copyright strike from this, but okay, so it's on silent. So a rapper is twerking at a Planned Parenthood saying, I got murder on my mind in front of a Planned Parenthood. Right? She says, I got murder on my mind. I think the reason why I had this is because I didn't want a copyright strike because they had captions on it. So she says, murder, murder. I'm just going to kind of read this. My baby daddy effing baby daddy free. That means I ain't got a N baby coming out of me. So I'm a ABORTING. I'm glad they spelled it out because I can't say that on YouTube. And she's twerking in front of an abortion clinic. On my way to the clinic, I forgot the plan B. I got murder on my mind. Let's go, bitch. I got murder on my mind. This is black culture. But they want to, like, here's the thing, though. Black women make up 14% of the population, but they lead in ABs, in ABORTION. They lead in this regard, right? And then we've witnessed rappers that I've shown on this stream right now saying all my non-white people to the back of the bus. All the non-white people get behind me, right? And then they've showed the white people on the outside being outed or ostracized from the black community. This is the most racist rhetoric. And then not to mention that, this is what's happening right now. We have the biggest thing that, like, the Austrian painter with the mustache. You know, that guy, I can't really say his name on YouTube, took out a lot of people. Well, guess who's coming in for first place when it comes to that? Black women like this right here. I got murder on my mind. Well, at least she accepts the fact that AB is murder, because a lot of people, liberals, deny that. They say it's not murder. This one's accepting it. Matter of fact, she's promoting this. Literally twerking outside of the AB clinic. Look, I forgot the plan B. Ain't no cuffing me. You can't put me on the blank outside with the team. All these expletives having babies, but that ain't finna be me. Look, see, not only this, but the literacy, finna be me. It ain't finna be me. The literacy is atrocious. So every stereotype and every racist trope is happening right now. This is crazy. She says she want to settle down. I got murder on my mind. Crazy. This is what I mean by degenerate. This is crazy. Black women are leading the ABs when it comes to just taking out our own kid. Like, so when people say, how come you don't want to date your own race? They'll say, how come you don't? Yes, pumpkinheads, they're leading in that. By far. It's super cringe, by the way, too. They need to go back to school, relearn how to speak English. They do. Yeah, it's cringe. It's bad. It's just horrific. Not only are they the biggest racists, the black community is the most racist, but they're the most murderous. And then look how masculine these women are with money. They want to be the boss because they're flossing cash, materialism. That's extremely masculine. Just doing this like this, that's masculine. That's good. You think I want that to be the mother of my children? Oh, matter of fact, that probably wouldn't even happen. I don't even think it would make it that far. One of the most dangerous places for a baby to be is in a black woman's womb. You can quote me on that. Pretty sure it has been quoted by other people before. But yeah, that's crazy. This rhetoric is insane. So we've literally went from seeing women dance outside with fried chicken and fulfill all the racial stereotypes with 40 ounces in their hand, KFC buckets, the Lyft driver that sued the Lyft, the obese, because she was too obese to get into the vehicle. Like, their body movements and their mannerisms, extremely masculine. This is something that men would do. Like, they would consider this like, quote unquote, bossing up. Like, this is crazy. So while we see this here, it's like, let me get this off my screen because I'm about to puke. Super gross. This is just insane. We have a lot of these racial tropes that people get pissed off about. And then when you basically call them out on this, they get pissed because you cite reality.
People be racist.
Black people can be racist, but I feel like it's justified. I feel like I have to be on edge or be prepared for a white person to be racist to me.
Is that from personal experience or from the media?
I'm gonna say based on personal experience and the media.
Oh, so based on her personal experience, that's an anecdote. Okay.
How often do you really face racism out in the street?
To be honest,
Has it ever happened?
it's never happened. It's
Oh,
on
man.
personal experience.
So she's lying. So not only is she probably lying, but she's feeding into the community that's telling people that this is a hardship. Whites are racist and they're eating this up, even though it doesn't happen to them. She just admitted to not experiencing any racism, but telling us that we should be fear-mongered by her own rhetoric. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I say that blacks are the most racist, because the black community is its own worst enemy. They perpetuate this. It's almost like we want to carry the victim card like to the death. And it doesn't make any sense because we keep perpetuating this. It's almost like the mantra that we eat, live, and breathe and pray. We have to eat, live, and breathe and pray this. A lot of this doesn't really make any sense. I mean, if you think about it, not only are blacks like one of the most racist people, but it's also extremely divisive. Let me put this back up.
People be racist.
So she's outside wearing this. I don't know what event she was coming out of, but hold on, let me get back to that screen right there. So this guy right here is hearing things from her, and she's probably, hopefully, getting red pilled by herself, by her own rhetoric. So there's a massive uptick in racism, right? If we think about this, the cultural divide is going to split even further. So there's an argument for female rappers being the vectors for anti-white and anti-Asian racism. This is happening right now as we speak. So we have rappers like Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion. They've released tracks embedding racial slurs and stereotypes targeting non-black groups. So if you think about it, there's a lot of racism that happens. It mirrors how Megan's WAP era included Instagram rants dismissing Asian critics as yellow interlopers. Yellow interlopers. How is this not racist? Right? So the impact, these aren't isolated lyrics. They're chart toppers that reach millions, conditioning young listeners to view whiteness or Asianness as punchlines for inferiority. I repeat, it's conditioning young listeners to view whiteness and Asianness as punchlines for inferiority. If the shoe was on the other foot, they would be having boycotts for this music. All this would be happening, right? So data from Nielsen music shows female-led rap tracks like these dominated 40% of hip-hop streams in 2022. And this embeds the bias at the scale. It's embedded bias at scale. We see this. This is perpetuated through the media, culture. Nobody's really addressing this. That's why I wanted to have this quick live session on YouTube right now to kind of talk about this. I don't know anybody else that's addressing this right now, because I don't think a white content creator could come out and say these things right now without being called a racist, without being called anything else, like, or being targeted with hate crime. You know, it's just insane. This is definitely not a liberal platform that I'm on right now, or that I have because of my belief system. Me uttering this would piss so many liberals off right now. So let's check back at the comments right now. It is ratchet AF, right? So Omni Future, awesome PFP, by the way, but she had to be ready for it. Self-fulfilling prophecy, right? I agree. I was reading the other comment, by the way. So here's the thing, though. It says, which can't rap, which both can't rap. You're right. I'd appreciate you filling me in. I see you guys educating each other in the comments. All right. Talking amongst each other. But here's the thing, though, is like the reason why I wanted to have this is because a lot of people get pissed off. There's a lot of liberals that are in my DM saying, why are you talking so much shit about black people? Why are you coming after the black woman? Well, it's because nobody is. What accountability are they being held to? Are white people holding them accountable? What about Asian people? I'm holding them to some account because I'm exposing this and I'm magnifying the behavior that's happening right now, putting it on Front Street, as they say. We have to discuss this stuff. If we don't discuss this, then this perpetuates. And it's going to happen all the time. And if they're absent any accountability, it doesn't get checked at all. And it continues, right? So liberals hate me because of this rhetoric. I bring this up on panels sometimes when I talk, even if I'm just making conversation, because I think it needs to be talked about. This racial divide is pushing our nation further apart, with representatives like Mayor Brandon Johnson in Chicago. Race hustlers like that are doing a great injustice to everybody. It's just really bad. So not only is this bad, it's just horrible. Yeah. Zero accountability. Omni Future says, between you, AJ, Doug MPA, Ask an Older Man, etc., I'm learning a lot. Yes, those guys are based. I'm on AJ's platform sometimes making commentary. I've been on Doug MPA's platform as well too. We've kind of when it came to like the relationship dynamics, we kind of disagree a little bit with me and Doug MPA. Asking Older Man is cool. there's a lot of information out here. My channel, I hope, can be more based, and hopefully you guys subscribe. If you aren't subscribed, hit the like button, share my content. That'll be good too, because it'll piss off a lot of liberals. So it's just bad. Pumpkinhead says it's all the leftists doing it to the black community. Yeah. Leftists are also contributing to this racial rhetoric and also broadening this divide that's happening right now. None of this helps. None of this helps leftists at all. None of this helps the blacks at all. None of this helps at all. Omni Future, I respect the nuance. Yeah, there's going to be some nuance. Not everybody's going to agree on everything. I've eaten pineapple on my pizza, and Andrew Wilson's going to call me a scumbag degenerate because I eat pineapple on my pizza sometimes. But Rachel Wilson says it's not that bad, so I guess take that what you will. It's like there's infighting in the home, maybe. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, if we think about it, it's like we're not going to agree on everything, but the whole topic is just the racial divide that we're having. We all agree on that. Me, Doug MPA, AJ, Asking Older Man, we'll all agree that black women are just really bad for society right now. As far as the culture, they're not helping us all. Not helping us all at all. Actually, Pumpkinheads, you said, did I watch Rachel debate? Actually, I was responding to the comment before I put it up. If you look on my YouTube, I actually posted one of the clips that I saw from that debate because I watched the debate. It's actually on one of my videos, and it's me just blasting the whole position of the anti-natalist that debated her. I'm a massive fan of the Wilsons, and also they're really good friends of mine as well too. I actually consider them family as well too. Really, really good. I'm really blessed to have them in my life. Extremely blessed. I don't think I would have found orthodoxy without Andrew Wilson. So I would legitimately be accurate if I was to say that man saved my life. Saved my life because I would have fallen into feminist Christianity, the westernized version of westernized Christianity. Just bad. So it was just, yeah, the debate was insane. Rachel destroyed the shit out of this woman, and she did a really good job. I've never seen it. It was almost like it was witnessing a bloodbath. So bad. This woman got the shit stopped at her so bad. It was just bad. Horrible. Bad. Rachel W. All day, Rachel W. She did great. Man, if I can only be a quarter of the debater she is, I'd be decent. If I was a quarter of the debater she was, I would be decent. I mean, if I was a quarter of the debater Andrew was, I'd be all right. But Rachel, I'd be decent. Like Rachel's a beast. She's a beast because she doesn't have any feelings. Like she's like your feelings when it comes to this. Like this is my ideology, and this is why yours is flawed. And I'm going to not only incinerate this, but you're going to have nothing but a void left over after I'm done with you in this debate. It was amazing to watch her work. Yeah, I don't understand it. She had a lot of pauses. Didn't really say much. She kept kind of stuttering a little bit, and doing a lot of this. Yeah, I've debated alongside both of them before, and it's been an honor. I've debated alongside Andrew twice. I debated alongside Rachel Wilson once, and that was the death penalty debate. All those debates are on my channel, by the way, if you want to check them out. The debate with me and Andrew, the debate with me and Rachel Wilson, those are all on the YouTube channel. So, yeah. Yeah, her mentor was batshit crazy. So, anyways, I'm going to wrap this up. I've got about an hour and a half. I'm trying to actually increase my YouTube views, so maybe if you guys could keep my YouTube videos on repeat and increase my watch hours, maybe it'll help. That's like the cheat code, maybe. I don't know. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. All of you, all 32 of you. I appreciate you all. My channel will grow, I hope, as I basically create more content for you, which is good content, because I want to cover this content. Nobody else is doing this. Nobody is covering this kind of content. Maybe Doug MPAJ, people like that. But I specifically want to cover content that's just not only divisive, but nobody wants to not talk about. But I want to actually create a solution. And the only way you're going to cause a solution or create a solution is if we talk about these things. White people are silenced right now because they can't speak about black issues. So I'll talk about it, because if Andrew talked about this, he'd hear all your racist comments. And if Rachel talked about black women taking out their babies, it's you're racist too. So she can't speak about black women, even though she's a stay-at-home mom. And she wrote a book about feminism, and she has a lot of stake in the game when it comes to this. She can't talk. Like they pull this race card out all the time, so nobody can talk about this. It's like their way of having this exclusion and gatekeeping this, so that way they can perpetually stay racist the whole time. And to me, there's no justification for this. This is why I must call this out. It's not only degenerate, but it continues to perpetuate the circular logic that they have, to where they can then be more racist as every generation comes. And then we have to keep eating this and accepting this. And now it's become so normalized and commonplace for black people to be racist that white people have to say, oh, all right, I guess it's okay, because what we did thousands of years ago. I'm being hyperbolic here, by the way. To me, it just doesn't make any sense. We need to stop this bullshit. Black people are being insane. They're just being crazy. This has gone too far. I'm sick of it. It's degenerate racist. Yes, it is. When you're in front of an AB clinic, dancing, twerking in front of this clinic, saying that you got murder on your mind because you want to take out your child, your I would say not just your child, but you want to take out your fetus, which is a human life. Like, this is what we're promoting. Rapper twerks at Planned Parenthood. I got murder on my mind. This is insane. She's promoting AB, right? Saying that she got murder on her mind, so she spells out aborting a baby, right? She's on her way to the clinic because she forgot her plan B. All this is just degenerate. Just insane. The fact that we even accept this in the black community is just crazy. This is feminist propaganda. This is degenerate propaganda. This is racist black culture back at it again. This is us just accepting it and having no justification for any of this. This is anti-natalist to the max here too. Extremely anti-natalist. If you're twerking in front of an abortion clinic and then you're saying, I got murder on my mind, which, by the way, she's accepting that this clinic is for murder, right? That's one truth that's in the song already. And we're celebrating this by twerking in front of a clinic. Crazy. Yes, Pumpkinhead says it's insane on so many levels. I agree. It is. It's wildly insane. It's not only wildly insane, but it's just insane. Well, I'm going to wrap this up here, but one last thing. Omni Future says it is Omnian, but it says Omni Future. Thanks, you're inspiring me to stream too about general cultural solutions of the past to resurrect. Less controversial, but hopefully not too boring. Yeah, you know what? It's good. You should get out there and try to stream. I'm trying it because I want to be monetized. It sucks not being monetized. I'm going out to Jubilee on the 19th to debate Brian Johnson, the tech billionaire, the guy that wants to stay 20 forever or to become immortal. I'm going to stomp the shit out of Brian Johnson. That's what I plan on doing. So there's a Give, Send, Go. I don't know if any of you guys follow my Instagram, but it's the link at the top of my Give, Send, Go. I need to figure out how to put this on my YouTube channel so I could put the link so that way I can get some crowdfunding, because I can't get super chats. I'm not monetized at all. So I appreciate all of your support. I appreciate all you guys for following me. Maybe you guys can restream my content, press the like button, and I appreciate all your support. Once again, you guys have a great evening. And I wouldn't be here if it weren't for you guys following me and kind of talking throughout the chats and everything else. So, yeah. So I'm going to have more divisive content that's going to piss off the liberals and left.